Hey guys, it's Marshall from Going Gear, and today we're going to take a look at a light from Zebralight, the SC80. So this is a pretty interesting little light. They'll take either AA's or CR123s, which is pretty neat. Little warning on here, thank you for choosing Zebralight. It says that the AA output, when you're using a AA, it's going to approach the output of using two AA's in most lights. So it draws a lot of power out of the lights, and they recommend using Sanyo Eneloops or Energizer lithium batteries. So I thought I'd mention that up front because that is important. One of the big things is that the alkaline batteries tend to leak inside flashlights like this, and you don't really want to have that happen because that can ruin your light. And also it may not work because a lot of alkaline batteries cannot provide that much power. So operator's manual, definitely worth taking a look at. Always good to take a look at this because there's some important information in there. And of course you have the light itself, which we already pulled out. Spare O-rings, lots of spare O-rings. If you ever happen to need those, I never have personally needed them. Just throwing the light all over the place. So we're zoomed in to show you this a little bit better. Nice little lights. I've always liked the styling on the Zebralights. Knurling where you need it so it's nice and grippy. Heat sinking around the head so it keeps it nice and cool. You don't have to worry about it overheating really fast. Nice sturdy pocket clip, which does come off when you apply a little bit of force, but you do have to apply a decent amount of force to it so it doesn't just pop off in your pocket when you're walking down the street. It's not exactly difficult to get off, but it's not going to come off in regular use. There's the switch. You can see how recessed it is. A lot of their earlier lights, people complained that they activated a little too easily in the pocket. I never had that problem, but you can see they're pretty deeply recessed now, so accidental activation is a lot less likely. Lightly orange peeled, actually that's a pretty heavily orange peeled reflector. XPG LED down in there. You can see a little bit of bezel protection, that stainless steel ring on the back, nothing on the back. But light is powered by either a AA battery or a CR123, so we're going to take a look inside and see how that works. So you get pretty much the same output on a AA or a CR123, which is really cool because that is definitely unique to this light. So we're going to go and slide a CR123 down in there. You can see it fits and powers the light and all that. But a AA battery, if you want to use that, what you have to do is put that cap back on, and we're going to take it apart at the head here, which if you're familiar with Zebralight, I can't think of any of their other lights that come apart at the head. But you take this and just flip it around, and that's it. So you can see the inside of the head there. Take and screw the head back on, and it actually has, let me do that again real quick, show you that it actually has a little recess in there, so you don't have to worry about it going down any further. It's actually going to stop it from going any further. So put the head back on, and take the cap off. Then we're going to slide a CR123 down in there, and you can see holds it in place. So you actually can change the inside of the light, which is kind of neat. So there you go. And then you saw it flash. When you put a good battery in a Zebralight, it'll flash really dimly. So the interface on a Zebralight, one of my favorite interfaces out there. I carried an SC30 in my pocket for a couple of years. And it's just because they're so easy to use. You can get to 3 different output modes from off, which is really cool. So to get to the low, press and hold for about a second, and you can see it'll go into a really low output. To go into medium from off, double click and it'll go into medium. And to get into high, just tap it and it'll go into the highest output, or the highest output mode. Now each of those actually has a secondary output. So like if we're in the high output, we double click, you can see it'll cycle between the two. And it has a memory, so if you like to set it up a certain way, like I like to have it where the lowest output, or the low output mode is the lowest output, which you can see is super low, which I find really useful for doing up close kind of stuff, you know, looking inside your tent, looking inside your pack, looking around in the house and not waking your wife up at night. And that's probably the most common one for me. But I like to have it in the low of the low, the low of the medium, and the high of the high. And of course you can set it up however you want, because it'll memorize however you set it. So you can access the mode that way, or you can just press and hold. If you don't like messing with all the different button clicks and all that kind of stuff, you can just press and hold, and then when you see the output that you want, just let go and it'll memorize that. One quick note, let me show you. I'm going to put it in medium. When you do the press and hold, it's always going to start off in low first. So it's going to go low to medium to high, and it's always going to start in low first when you do the press and hold. Alright, so there is actually some advanced customization that you can do, and the way to get into that is to double click it 6 times. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's going to be in like a little customization menu where if you double click it, you can see it's going to cycle through a few different outputs and then strobe. What you're setting here is the secondary output for the high mode. So I've got it in strobe now. If I turn it off, that's all you have to do to make it memorize it. When I turn it back on, when I turn it into high and do that double click, you can see the secondary output is now set to strobe. So you saw there are a couple of different outputs that you can set it to. There's also a strobe. One quick note is that strobe is the one thing that it will not memorize. So if I have it in strobe, I turn it off, I turn it back on, it's going to go into the high output instead of the strobe. You'll have to double click to get into the strobe. Not really a big deal, but the strobe is the one thing that you cannot memorize. All the rest of the outputs and everything, it will memorize. Alright, so that is the Zebralight SC80. We're going to go ahead and take this outside, and we'll show you how this little guy does outside. Okay, got the SC80 outside. Big 40 mag light that I always use. Here's the mag light first. So that's a little bush that's about 15 feet away. Tree out there at 100 feet. Alright, let's try out the SC80. And there it is on high. So you can see the difference that the modern LEDs, modern technology and everything makes. Shine it around a little bit just so you can see what it looks like, and we'll zoom in on that tree just so you can see that a little bit better. That's the strobe, in case you want to see what that looks like. And then we'll let it cycle through the different outputs. So there's your low, the medium, and high. And just to show you, the low is actually enough to see what's going on in front of you. I don't think this is going to show up on camera. We'll set it to the secondary low. There you can see it better. But perfect for illuminating what's going on in front of you. You want to see what's inside your pack, inside your tent. That's what the low is for. And then if you need a longer distance, you have that available. Quick couple button presses, get you right to it. Or press and hold, of course. Alright, so there you go. That is the Zebralight SC80, powered by either CR123s or a single AA battery. If you like it, you can get it from us at goinggear.com. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe. I put out a ton of flashlight and other gear videos. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach me in the comments or at goinggear.com.